let's look ahead to week 6, try and find some early value here as we look at our top spread picks in the NFL.
The early edge.
So as mentioned, top spreads went 3 for 3 in week 5, and we're going to look to see if we can do that again with our top overall spreads of the week in week 6, led by Falcons plus 4.5 versus the Bills. 58.9% probability here, 5.4% edge. This is our highest overall probability of the week, according to the Dimers model. That edge is pretty sizable as well, as you're getting high value and a 5% value. This should be about minus 150, so you're getting a nice edge there. Falcons are well rested coming off a bye, while the Bills are looking to bounce back after a disappointing loss to the Patriots at home. Feels like this game could be a little bit more evenly matched than maybe even the plus 4.5 suggests. The Falcons have shown quite a bit of spunk in the defensive department this year, while the Bills are kind of looking like the opposite. Bijan Robinson is as explosive as a player as they come, and it's good for the Falcons that he's a running back because the Bills' rushing defense has been bottom 5 in the league this season. 145.6 yards per game to go along with 7 touchdowns on the ground, including 2 on Sunday Night Football, Meanwhile, the Falcons, on the other side, have the best passing defense in the NFL by yards allowed, just 135 per game to opposing offenses. And on the ground, they've allowed just 2 rushing scores. Neither of those things lines up very well for the Bills, who can't find a true alpha wide receiver 1. If you look at our projections for this game, Keon Coleman and Khalil Shakir are up at the top with about 43, 45 yards apiece. That's just not going to get it done as a wide receiver 1 in the NFL. It's going to be hard to move the ball deep downfield when you don't have a guy who can just break the game open. And on the ground, James Cook is coming off his worst game, both from a productive standpoint, a touch standpoint, and his only game this season in which he didn't score. This is all the momentum is on the side of the Falcons here, while the Bills need to course correct, and they're going to have to do so on the road in a tough environment and against a very formidable defense. So I'm all in on this one with the model. It's going to be a play that you'll see on my card, and probably once again when we talk about our best bets on Thursday, if the value holds come our next episode. Next up, Ravens plus 7.5 versus the Rams. This is a 58.5% probability, 6.4% edge, our highest of the 3. So this is a best bet from the Dimers model as of now. First off, the spread has got to be contingent upon Lamar Jackson playing. If he does, I'm going to side with the model here. If he doesn't, you have to wonder how much faith you can put in Cooper Rush and Snoop Huntley, depending on who gets the call as the backup. The Ravens' free fall doesn't seem to be ending anytime soon. They now sit 1-4. The season's slipping further and further away from them. However, there's something going on here because they're nearly even with the Steelers on the sports books to not only win the AFC North, but to make the playoffs at minus 160. The sports books are just not ready to put the nail in the Ravens' coffin yet. 1-4 is incredibly hard to turn around from. To do so, they're going to have to start scratching out chunk wins. It's going to need to happen here. Their schedule does get very easy after this. They'll play some of the worst teams after a really tough stretch that's included the Texans and the Rams. But look, it has to start somewhere, and the Rams have failed to close out multiple games when they've had the chance. They just let the 49ers B squad beat them last Thursday. So while the eye test says to fade the Ravens, getting this spread outside of a touchdown does a lot for me personally, and it's probably a big reason why the model has such a high probability on them to cover as well. You don't even need them to cover 2 scores. To cover 1 score, rather. They can cover with 2 here. Ravens aren't going to be able to contain Kyren and Puka realistically, so you're going to expect the Ravens offense to have to do a lot of work, which is a reason I like playing this spread in tandem with the over. It's just 44.5. The Dimers model gives it a 55% probability. 24-21 cashes this. 27-18. There are paths to cashing this with lower scoring outputs from the Ravens against a Rams team that's probably as capable of scoring as anybody else in the NFL. And again, 7.5 spread, 6.4% edge, 58.5% probability. This is a Dimers model best bet early in the week. I'm going to plan to put this on my card. I'll see what the model says come Thursday with the final spreads when we talk about our best bets on the episode. But there's a good chance I'll be tailing this alongside with the over in my main NFL bets of the week. Finally, our last spread, Steelers -4.5 versus Browns. It's our only favorite to cover here. 54.2% probability, 0.7% edge. So no value really to speak of. Getting fair odds. The Browns do not get a bye coming back from overseas. That's pretty tough, especially with Dylan Gabriel still getting used to the NFL. Meanwhile, the Steelers are fresh off of their bye after their overseas trip, and they're playing at home with a chance to slam the door shut on the aforementioned AFC North. This Browns defense is no joke. 70 rushing yards per game, 152.3 passing yards per game. Both of those are top 4 marks in the league. The rushing yards mark is the best in the NFL. However, they have allowed 8 passing TDs. You can beat them through the air if you can get, the probably chunk plays you're going to need. You're not going to be able to chip away drives at this team. They're going to snuff out your runs. And Kenneth Gainwell and Jalen Warren aren't going to be the running back duo that flips the script on the Browns defense this season, unless they're just catching them in a jet-lagged, upside-down position coming back from overseas here. 1.4 touchdowns to receivers per game by the Browns. So DK Metcalf has probably about as good of a chance to score as anybody. 38.2% touchdown probability in week 6. I would certainly look to him, depending on what the plus money value is on him to score. Aaron Rodgers, he's looked better, I think, than we expected this year. And he's been gifted some wins as well. This is probably going to sit somewhere in the middle. He's going to have to play his best against this Browns defense. But I think they're in a tough spot coming back from the London trip. On the road against the Steelers team in a very good position with a chance to basically win the division here in week 6. I'll definitely be playing this myself. Maybe look at what you could tease it down to if a field goal price is a little better for you. But this is a good one for me per the model, and I'm going to be right alongside it. One more thing I want to look at before we move on. There's a little bit of touchdown value on site, and I want to cover some of that. So I'm just going to pull up the touchdown bets I saw this morning that popped out to me. And there's some big names here, so hopefully they'll stand out to you as well. Devin Achane and Jahmyr Gibbs, anytime touchdown right here. Both of them are getting a tutty threat signal. That requires you to have a 50% touchdown probability and an edge by the Dimers model. Both of them are over 60%, so they more than meet this threshold. They both get a high value signal with over a 6% edge each. Jahmyr Gibbs, you might expect his odds to be well north of this, but he's at -130, a very bettable line for someone of his talent. Devin Achane, almost at even money, -110, 8.3% edge. Huge value here. I'm certainly going to play the two of them together in a little 2-leg touchdown parlay. And that's not all I'm going to do, because if you fire up the Dimers Pro NFL props and check out where else we've got value, you'll find them both with a value to score 2 touchdowns. Both of them over 24% probability. Both of them over an 8% edge, giving them high value here. Jahmyr Gibbs, +450, should be just about +300, actually shorter at that 26.6% probability. Devin Achane should be just about +325, and you're getting him at +550 here. That's huge value. I'm going to play these in a couple fun ways. Probably play a little lotto of the two of them scoring together, as well as small little touchdown ladders of 2+ as a straight, along with the Gibbs Achane anytime TD parlay. You can find about 25 touchdown props on site for at any time, a handful of 2+, 1 or 2 first TD probabilities as well. So please go on dimers.com, get Dimers Pro, check out what we have for NFL props. You won't be disappointed in what you find, and hopefully you'll put together some winners, straights, or parlays.